What's up, guys? It's Frank from S-Class Tinting. I wanted to make content today and actually do things a little differently. I wanted to have an introduction video to kind of where I started out, where S-Class originated from, kind of like the skills of the trade and where I began and just the trials and tribulation leading to where we are today. I think it's a good way to connect with my customers, for customers that already know me, just to get a really good background story about me and my past, and also for future customers, so you know what you're getting yourself into when you are coming to S-Class. So I'm gonna start a whole video right now and kind of just go over everything. And this is not only good for customers that want to maybe potentially use us for tinting. I know customers already know us, know the quality we do, and I tell you guys all the time about all my experience and everything, so you already know. But it's for new customers that might not know what the difference is between using S-Class, me personally, and my partner. So I kind of want to explain the whole story. And also, this might even be good for anybody else that's starting a new job or a skilled trade or looking to get into a different kind of job, because all my full experience of working for almost over 20 years is very valuable lessons I learned in that time. So I want to go into detail, into depth in this video, even talk about some personal things, and I think it'll be cool for you guys to hear out. I'm probably gonna make this a two-part video, maybe one part, two-part for Instagram. This is also gonna be a full video for YouTube. So let's get started. I'm gonna talk right now and just basically introduce myself, where I came from, and talk about where S-Class originated from. So where I originated from, basically I've been doing this now since I was about 17, I think about 17 years old. And a lot of people can't really guess my age. I might look a little younger than I am. If I ask you to guess my age right now, I'm hoping that you're gonna give me a number that's under my age. I'm actually 38 years old. So I've been doing this since 17. And pretty much how I got into it was I wanted to do something with automotive. In my earlier years, I came up from the streets, and I'll be honest with you, I grew up in the streets, not doing anything illegal, but just kind of just with my friends, you know, and just being in the streets a lot. So I learned a lot of social skills in that environment, but I needed a job, I needed to work, and I didn't know what I wanted to do. I wasn't really good with school. School was not my path. So I knew I wanted to be something with automotive, and someone really rich told me, write down 5 or 10 things that you really enjoy and then try to find a job close to that, right? And that's exactly what I did, and automotive was one of those things. I actually started becoming a mechanic, and I got a job at a dealership, and I started off doing detailing for that company, just washing the cars for the mechanic shop. Basically, when at the dealer, when the mechanic was done dealing with the car, it would be me to clean the car and drive it around to the customer. So that's where I actually originally started working, pretty much in the automotive scene. And then it all started when one day the company told me to deliver a vehicle to a tint company. At this age, I just got my license. My car was not even tinted yet. It was actually a hatchback Honda Civic. So basically what ended up happening was I had to bring the vehicle from the dealership to the tint company. And I'm driving this new car from the dealership to the tint company, and I walk into the tint company, and this tint company was actually in Woodbridge. I don't mind giving their name. Their name is Laser Tint in Woodbridge. They're a very, back then, this is 20 years ago, they're a very high-end tint company, and they worked with all the dealerships in Vaughan, Maple, BMW, Audi, all the major dealerships in the area, all right? So I delivered the vehicle there, and as soon as I walked in, the first thing they said to me is, hey, I could tell by your eyes that you would be good at tinting. And I'm still fresh, I don't know what tints are. I'm in the back, I'm looking at all these brand new cars they're working on. I thought it was pretty cool. They ended up offering me the same I was getting paid at that time to work for the dealership. Back then I was getting paid, I think, like $3.20 a week. Minimum wage was a lot lower back then. It was like $10 an hour or something like that. So I really wasn't making much. And they were gonna pay me to learn. So I had to make a decision. I wanted to be a mechanic. I was already becoming a technician at the dealership doing oil changes. And I remember a lot of the mechanics telling me everything is computerized now and it might not be something you like. And I was skeptical of whether I wanted to be a mechanic or not. I did love cars. I even liked fixing cars, but this is kind of like a new pathway into something different with the automotive scene. And so I went back there, seen what they were doing, and I took it into my mind. I went back to work, and there was an actual mobile tinter that came into the dealership. He started tinting cars at the dealership, and I asked him, I said, hey, this place in Woodbridge is offering me to pay me to go there and work for them to do tinting. And right away he said, honestly, if someone's paying you to teach you and it's a reputable company like that, I would take up on it, because, you know, tinting is a good skilled trade. And most tinters are not gonna go and teach you how to do something professionally, let alone pay you to learn, right? It just doesn't make sense because you create your own competition, right? So I took it up on the offer, and I actually ended up going to work for this company. And I started out, and I told the dealership, guys, I'm sorry, and you know, I can't do it no more. I found something else that seems to be more interesting to me, and I think that I could become more successful doing this. So I took up the offer. The dealership did not want me to go. It is what it is. Sometimes you got to make the right choices in life, you know, and you might find something that's more closer to what you like and what you value, and something you're more interested in. It might be better for you. Sometimes it's good to take that leap and go for it. So I pretty much hung up my mechanic, entrepreneur beginning on the shelf, and I went into tinting, and I started working there. It started off for 2-3 weeks. I was literally going into work 9 to 5. They were matching my pay. I was only getting paid $350 a week at that time, to literally stand there and watch them, and watch them for 3 weeks straight. So this is where it kind of started, and they showed me professionally how to professionally clean the windows, heat shrink the film on the side doors, and just to do things the right way. So I spent a lot of time with these guys. They came from Germany, and I spent a lot of time working on vehicles. I ended up being there for about 6 or 7 months, and I mastered the door tinting. They taught me everything there was to know about it, except for hand cutting. It was all computer cut. So my job was to take the film from the board, bring it to the window, install the tint on the window. But the whole process of cleaning it professionally was a big thing, because if you're not doing that part properly, you're gonna get dust and imperfections in the material, and then how to handle the film and a certain way to squeegee it, right? So now I'm really good on the doors. I'm really good. And they're not teaching me the back window. The back window is the hardest thing to learn. And at that point, I was with them for 6 months. I asked them for a raise, and they actually denied my raise. They said, we need to be tinting more cars in order for me to pay you more money. So at that point, I was a little turned off by that. And I ended up reaching out to the original guy who told me, who was doing mobile, who told me to go to them and to go with them if they're gonna pay you to teach you. And I called them and I said, listen, I can do doors now professionally. I've been there for about 6 or 7 months. I can't hand cut or anything like that, but I can install them, clean the windows professionally, and install it, and it looks like really good. He knew that was a reputable company. He took me on the offer and actually hired me to work with him. So now I started doing mobile tinting. And I started going in and out of all the dealerships in Brampton, because that's pretty much the section that he had all the contracts. So to sum up basically what I'm talking about, that's the beginning part of where it all started. And so the companies I originally started with were top level companies that taught me the right way to do window tinting. And you know, this story can go on and on and on. I mean, I'm talking 20 years worth of experience, right? And moving on from there, I learned how to hand cut, eventually briefly showing me how to tint the back windshield. Now I'm practicing on my friend's cars, and I'm working for him doing mobile work at dealerships, tinting cars. Now I know how to hand cut. So my level just kept increasing. Now I've been doing it for about a year and a half, and still I'm not one of the best tinters out there. You know, I was good, I could clean it right. But if you put me on a car by myself in someone's garage, you're not gonna have frank, professional, 20 years experience guy working on your car. So that's why when people say they have 1-2 years experience, it doesn't compare to someone that's been doing it for 20 years, especially if they're just kind of learning from little schools or practicing on their own. When it comes to tinting, this skilled trade, you really got to start from the ground up. You got to work for a proper professional company that wants to teach you, and you got to spend years and years learning this skill to become one of the best. And that's part of the reason why I'm so passionate about what we do, what we offer, our quality, our value. And that's why I talk about that so much all the time. So, I mean, that's the reason why I'm so passionate about what we do. And to be honest, when I see other pop-up tint shops that probably don't have the right experience, or maybe they went to a tint school for a week and now all of a sudden they're opening up tint companies and charging $99 tints and expecting to say lifetime warranty and ceramic tint, it's just not possible. They're not gonna have the skills required to give you a professional job. The material is expensive, and if they're buying real ceramic tint, there's absolutely no way they're doing it for $99. They're gonna be making negative. So it is false claims out there. That's why I emphasize a lot on be careful where you go and watch out for these scammers that are basically saying they're gonna give you 20 years experience, high level kind of work for $99. It's not possible. My story does continue. In a personal note, I ended up having kids at a young age. I had them at 20 and 21 years old. I had 2 kids. I was about 3.5 years experience into tinting now. And while I was working for that mobile tinter for a long time, eventually I kind of wanted to go on my own. There's a lot of details to why I wanted to go on my own. A lot of it had to do with a lawsuit. I was involved in an accident and where I injured my knee, and I got a bit of a payout. And I figured this is a good time for me to go on my own. But having to raise kids and to go on your own and not really have customers was really difficult. So I went through a lot of hard times trying to build this company from that stage, and back and forth with going back to work for another company and then back on my own again. So I'd go work for another company, and at this stage when I worked for this one company, they were paying me now $700 a week. So I'm like, wow, I'm getting paid $700 a week now. That felt great. You know, I have 2 kids. At that time, I felt like that was a good paycheck. And I actually, at that time, my brother Ross, who works with us, obviously my partner, I think he was about 15 years old at that time. I took him with me. He wasn't doing so good with school, and I told him to come with me. He ended up being there learning with me, and I wasn't even 100% professional yet, but we were doing all the cars for this company, and I started getting more experience doing cars and becoming really good. He's starting to learn how to do side windows. It was a good opportunity for me to start training him. So he was 15 years old, I started training him. Fast forward, that company didn't work out. I ended up, having a fallout with the company, and I wasn't happy. I ended up working for another company now, Tint in Woodbridge, which is another very high-level tint company where the owner had 20 years experience. Now I'm learning more skills from the trade from him and developing all his skills. So laser tint, true light tinting, 20 years experience, and then now another 20 years experience. I'm putting all this experience inside of me and learning from the best tinters in the GTA. Hands down, these guys were the best out there at that time. So I've learned a lot from these guys working for his company now. And I was working for his company for almost about a year when he wanted me to now give him money to open up another company in Brampton. Now here's where the story continues and where S-Class really started to format. So when he offered me that, I was like, why am I gonna pay you $10,000 to open up a business in Brampton with your name when I still have to purchase the film, pay the bills, and you can shut me down at any time? At that time, I thought it wasn't a good idea. I got some money from my lawsuit money. Let me take the chance now. I'm really good at tinting and going on my own. So I decided to do that. I started to try to get customers from Kijiji and word of mouth and friends and family. And I kept building and I kept building. And at that time, again, I had kids. They were, I think, probably around 6 or 7 years old at that time. And I was hoping I would do 1 or 2 cars a day just to put food in my fridge. So I went through a lot of trials and tribulations trying to build this company. But eventually it started to take off, and I started to get on Google. We started to get more calls. I started to get more work, and things were looking up. But still, when the winters came around, it got really, really hard, and I couldn't continue with the business. I now found another company that offered to pay me somewhere around $1,300 a week, and I thought that was huge. Now this is like, now I've been doing tints for 7-8 years. I'm finally getting about $1,300 a week. I thought it was awesome. This company was a 2.2 star company that didn't know what they were doing with tints, bunch of mechanics. I went in there with my brother Ross, who are still partners till this day, as a package deal. So my $1,300 paycheck, I paid him out of my pocket, and he started getting a lot of experience too, because we were working together and we were doing all these cars. I worked there for a long time. Long story short, my check started bouncing. There was personal issues with that owner that ran that mechanic shop. Couldn't pay me anymore. Even though his company was growing from our skills and our professional work, he couldn't pay me no more. I wasn't gonna stick around. My business, my phone was still ringing on the side. I went full leap into S-Class Auto Tinting. We started doing mobile work. We were doing mobile at dealerships, house garages. We ended up even doing work at an auto glass place. And now this is fast forwarding. There's still a lot of details in between, but I'm trying to skip through this because this video can last for 20 minutes and I'm trying to shorten up the video. I might even have to make parts on YouTube. It might be too long, but anyway, so basically I went to the auto glass place and we started deciding to say, hey, what are we gonna do with these people that when we do mobile, that they need a shop, they don't have a house garage we can go to? So I offered to pay them $35 a car. Basically, every time I would have a car that needed a shop, I would bring it to this Atlas Auto Glass place, which I'm still friends with now. I've been with them for 20 years. I knew them for a long time. These are great people. They still send me work, okay? But I've been there for a long time doing cars. I ended up getting to the point where we were doing 4 or 5 cars a day. And when you look at the numbers, $35 a car, 4 or 5 cars a day throughout the week, it really got high up there on monthly payments. And I needed to make a personal decision. It was no hard feelings towards them. I needed my own tint space. I thought it was time that we go full out S-Class Tinting instead of being affiliated with another company and paying per car. So I remember Ross actually sending me a message and saying, hey, I found this shop. Beautiful black floors. It's a brand new unit. We knew the owners of the place. And that place is actually this place I'm sitting in here today. And I think it was about maybe 8 years ago where we finally moved in here. The rent was decently priced and we went full in with S-Class Auto Tinting. At this point, we had so many years of experience, you know, and it got to the point now where I really considered myself one of the best tinters out there. I mean, I was doing tints from 17 years old to now 30 years old. So, I mean, that level of experience gave me a lot of confidence, and I knew that I could provide the best quality work, especially in Brampton, but I mean like probably in Canada or in Ontario, because of the experience and the best companies I work for and trials and tribulations and doing mobile tinting and just learning from these different owners. I can really bring, or we can really bring a lot of value and experience to you as a customer. Relating into like if you're a person that wants to start their own trade or their own new job, or you're even your own business. One thing is for sure, if you really love something and you have a dream and you want to do something and you're passionate about it, it's going to take consistent work. It's going to take a lot of hard times, good times, ups, downs. And let me tell you something, no business, no trade, no skill is going to be good after 1 or 2 years. You might get decent, but it takes time. You got to look at things with the long-term perspective that this might take 10 years, but give your best effort every single day. And understand that to be the best at something, it's going to take time, it's going to take effort, and you really got to learn from the right people, and then you got to attack it with the intention to give your best. I think service, high-level service is lacking these days in a lot of businesses. A lot of people are just there for the money. I truly care about the customers. I've always been brought up from the other companies to give the best quality and service and make sure that they're happy. So we do bring a lot of value. When you step in this shop, I might be giving you a fair price. Considering all those details I just mentioned, we should probably be charging somewhere close to $300 just for a sedan, not even including the windshield. And we keep our prices at $180, as you know. And some days, special days, we even give discounts. So if you go to somewhere in Woodbridge or Oakville or Barrie, the prices are way high up there, and they probably don't even have the experience that I do. But I keep my prices fair. Then you got these pop-up shops now, 1 year experience, learn from who knows how, who knows what type of material, charging $99, $120. You cannot compare. These people are not going to give you the same kind of material. They don't understand how to clean it properly, install it properly. Even though they say lifetime warranty, they hope you don't go back in a couple of years. So you guys got to really understand that value is really important, and that's what we have here at S-Class Tinting. So I might be rambling on and giving you a whole background story on where I came from, and honestly, I could sit here all day and tell you about so many different situations and incidents that happened throughout my career. The good thing with our company is it has still and is me and my partner Ross that's been working together forever as a unit. A lot of businesses, the smart thing to do is to make a business run on its own where you don't need the owner so that you can sell the business and make profit off of it. I do this from the heart. Ross does it from the heart. We really truly care about our customers. So when you come here, you're dealing with the owner and the partner that's been working from day one, and we're still together doing your car personally. We do one car at a time inside our shop. We don't have 4 cars in the shop and people waiting all over the place just trying to put some money in our pockets. We truly care about professional quality work per vehicle, giving you the best quality service in the area that you're going to find, especially at this price. So I do appreciate you guys sending us referrals and sending us friends and family, and I want you to know that you can definitely continue to trust us. The future, I'm not sure where it's going to go. I do have a 17-year-old kid, a 16-year-old kid. Ross has a baby now. We're probably going to end up moving in the direction of having the kids start moving in and working when we get older, you know, but you can count on us to be here for a long time to continue to do the installations. We're not going to hire some random tinters with no experience working on your car while we're on vacation. We're here every single day working on your vehicles, making sure that you're happy and you're going to get a good quality job. So S-Class Tinting, definitely a company you can trust. I'm looking forward to meeting new customers every single day. And for my old customers, you know I've been doing this forever, and I'm going to continue to do the same thing. Me and Ross are going to continue to give you guys the best quality. We just upgraded to titanium nano ceramic film. We've been using ceramic, now we're upgrading again because it was new in inventory. It's more expensive. I don't care. I want to give you guys the best. So you can truly trust us here at S-Class Tinting. And I hope this video made a little bit of a stronger connection between me as the owner and where I've come from, and you as potentially a new customer that's looking for a tint company. And just explaining the benefits and the difference between $99 and an actual professional person in a skill that's really come a long way, that's going to give you the best for every dollar that you're going to spend here. So thank you guys for listening. I hope that you enjoyed the whole talk. I'm sure I'm going to make more videos in the future explaining different things. I'll continue to try to pump out some more content, give you guys before and after videos, and try to make it cool on content. At the end of the day, it's a content world. You know, there's a lot of social media people. I'm not in here hiring professional camera people and cameras flying above me. Maybe we'll do that in the future. For now, I like to make it genuine, personal, and keep it one-on-one with you. And we're looking forward to seeing you soon, guys. Thank you.